All right, so I am going to talk a little bit about my notices and my wonders. I'm actually going to type them in here. So the first thing I kind of notice is that all this data is kind of like around this section is the highest. So I noticed that there's more data on the left, and I also noticed that there's less data or less points on the right. So more data on the left, less data on the right. Now, I also noticed that between 85 and 93, whatever that label is pretty even. So the data evens out on the right. So data evens out on the right. Now, when I'm wondering, well, I look at this graph, there's no labels. So I'm kind of wondering, what is this graph actually representing? Or if it doesn't have a specific label, maybe I could say, what could this graph represent? I'm also wondering, is this a skewed graph? Or maybe I could even put that in the noticings. Based on what I know, I could probably actually say that I know that this is actually a skewed graph. So I could put that in my notice. And if I want to be a little bit more specific, I could actually say that this graph is skewed to the right because all of my data is lower on the right. So how you know if it's skewed left or right? So basically, whatever side has the smaller or thinner data, which in this case, so this is my left data, and this is my right data. So on my right-hand side, it's very thin, like a skewer. A skewer is like, like something you put a piece of meat or or vegetables on, and it goes on the grill. Skewers are very thin. So if it's skewed to the right, it's going to be very thin on the right. If it's skewed to the left, the data is going to be very thin on the left. So there's less data here on the right, which means it's skewed to the right. So I could also even go a step further and say that.